did some manscaping, did some trimming, and I was like, oh, I got some sculpture. Sculpted. Just didn't notice it was covered in Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
What? Holy shit, you're scared. Hairy ass motherfucker. There's nothing in there. Stop it.
That was really funny. I looked at Surgeon and I'm like, winter's coming, you realize that, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you ready for Wookiee mode? And he's like, see you in March. And I'm like,
All right, who wants to do a recap of what happened last game?
It's
yeah,
been so long.
Yep. And you crawl
Just
through
got
there.
shit implanted in your neck.
Oh right, yeah. I tried to get that shit off of your face, or you tried
Oh
to
yeah,
get
you
that
guys
shit
like
off
faces
my
with like
face.
mango.
So you guys, last session you fought a bunch of sort of crazy, like genetically augmented assassins, and you met your character, whose name is Charlotte Weatherby.
That's right.
Who is a muscle-bound freak of some sort.
Yeah. All that stuff wasn't changed from when we made the character. We just
Was this on through that whole discussion about the Chinatown?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I only turned it on just before we started.
Okay, good. Nothing happened in Chinatown.
Way to be conspicuous, you know? Nothing ever happens in Chinatown.
Would you would you be interested in if I was to shoot and edit and produce some big casting couch stuff? Would you be interested in being like the star, the male actor in that? You could wear a mask or something. You don't have to show your face.
What's casting?
It's like when I get young impressionable women in and you show them the ropes.
They're under the impression that they're there for a no, film stuff. They're actresses.
Okay.
That are really, it's just basically to make a porn.
Yeah.
Then no.
But I'll pay you.
Oh.
I'll pay you $50 an hour. Something like that. And you just have to basically
last an hour?
Yeah. I'll give you some sildenafil, so you'll be good to go.
I'm very broke right now.
Well, you don't have to show your face. We can make you you can wear a Trump mask or something like that.
Oh yeah. No, how about Kavanaugh?
Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Kavanaugh mask. The recent events, Kavanaugh mask is definitely deserved.
What do you think?
At this point. That's my middle name.
And we'll release it.
I think I'll pass.
Okay.
You could have made millions on the internet, dude.
You become famous. You'd be like the new James Dean.
Not really.
I would do it, but I don't have the equipment, so.
Okay, so yeah, rates. Cool. That's a hard no.
That's a hard no. You didn't want to think about it for a bit. Might come back to me next week.
Hard is definitely something you want in this.
That's what I want. That's what I need.
God.
Soft no would be terrible. Hard no is at least you're 50% interested.
I'll think about it.
There you go. That's what I want. Okay.
You're terrible human beings.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad that's all I'm there.
Oh yeah, you can wear what is that called? Like a luchador mask.
Yeah, there you go.
For a balaclava.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll move this out of the way just so we can figure out what's going on over here.
Okay, so what was that about?
It porn is a thing.
It porn?
You could wear an it mask. Yeah.
You met a bunch of assassins upstairs. You killed them all. Remember the arena was changed, and this guy was watching you through the glass.
That's right.
And so you attacked a couple of them, and then one of them
those
ended up getting free. Yeah.
The big woman and the.
I was the big woman, and the snaky guy. I snapped his neck.
Yeah. So then you got away, and you ended up down in this. There's a big vat here. It was regional of the four, and there was sort of different almost assembly over this conveyor belt.
When you tried to get on and go in there, and then we got
and you get to climb through the underneath, and inside here there was a bunch of gurneys with bodies and things on them, and some of them had like bodies on hooks, like hanging on hooks.
But didn't we get implanted with stuff like this
Yep.
business here?
Yes, correct. Yeah. So when you went through, Charlotte went through first, and she didn't get implanted,
Nope, I was
and
not.
then you guys crawled through, and when you came out, you had like barcodes on your neck, and when you tried to take them out, they were like there was some sort of filigree wire inside your neck, and that's where we left the game.
Filamentous.
Filamentous. That's it. Thank you. That's the Latin term for filament.
Scientific.
Filamentous.
Oh,
Very good.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was just the adjective form.
Sure.
Filament.
It is also.
Hmm.
Yeah. Thank you. Filamental, I think, is what you mean. Yeah. Filamental, my dear Watson.
Conversation.
You-
Are you filamentally
Filamentally challenged.
Yeah.
Moving on. So then we tried to and then we did some massive damage to each other's faces.
You tried
By
to pull them
taking
out, and you
Yeah.
couldn't get it out, so then you
Yep.
put it back in again.
And I'm at
You
2
left it in
HP
there.
again.
A little bit.
I'm just looking at my techniques. I love it. Just like brawling wrestling, photography.
You gotta know how to take some photos sometimes. What do you think of your Orangina?
Alright, it's pretty good.
Maybe real OJ. That's what's so good.
Yeah.
Good call. Good call on the Orangina.
Mhm.
There's many different types of oranges in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
we
your,
got some
what's your
mandarins.
favorite kind of orange?
I like sometimes.
I like navel.
Yeah.
I like the blood orange.
Yeah.
I like the army
I like
oranges
the one
too.
that sounds the most perverted.
The army oranges, the Air Force oranges, but the naval ones are definitely the best ones.
Enlighten yourself.
Oh,
Nice.
God. I know what you're talking about, pervy. I know where you're going with that one.
That was the
Oh, you meant like
expression.
belly button.
It was the weird look to it, but
What about the marine ones?
The marine, yeah, marine.
Ones
ones.
underwire.
That's
because
exactly
you're
it.
like
yeah.
navel. You're doing all the weird things.
What was that?
What?
That
I
was-
don't know what
that's
that
weird.
was.
That face to him?
That was the
weird,
face he was
like-
hiding from you when he was doing it.
No,
directly
that's
at
like
the
a, that's like a weird attempt at sexy tiger face.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
what is with that?
Exactly. It was
What's
just
going
imitating
on?
what you were doing.
Oh, yeah. You loved me. You were like, I can't wait to come back to role playing.
So I could
Works
stab you.
60% of the time every time.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Mm.
So what you guys are going to do from this room onward? Are we going back into this room, or can I erase it and move ahead?
Is there other stuff in that room that we are currently in?
Yeah, I'm gonna redraw it so that
Okay.
everything is like back. I let you guys decide what you're gonna do next.
Where are we currently?
I think we're still in here.
Yeah, we're still in the place with all the bodies in it.
The hooks. Yeah. Think there's anything in the box?
Organs.
Yeah, they're gonna-
Are you sure?
I think I'm gonna put my
You
hand in
sure?
the box to find it. I don't know what to
I
do
would
with
like to
this.
search the bodies.
Which ones?
All of them?
Okay.
Just go.
Just reach my hand in there.
Yep. That went so well last time.
I'm a different person now, alright?
The red ones never stay. Never erase properly. That's why it's black all the time. Once you go black, you never go black. Back. You see how you gotta know it.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
This stuff here.
your neighbor there
Yeah.
with all the kids.
Yeah.
Who's that random black guy that walked in there? Is he a neighbor too?
Which random black guy?
I don't know. There was like the guy left with the kids, and then their car pulled up, and a random black guy went in, and then the guy came back with the kids, and I didn't see the black guy leave.
He's probably hiding under the bed.
I don't know.
You're on camera. You realize that,
Are they?
What's wrong with what he said? It's just, Oh, you mean because
is that like another
I don't
person who lives in there?
I didn't
figured,
say it,
I
you
figured
said it.
since like you're a neighbor and you talk to them that you would have met this rando character.
Yeah. You know, it's strange that you said that because I had a conversation the other day, not about my neighbor, but that when people talk about someone that's black,
Yeah.
they'll say rando black guy rather than rando guy. Like, it's like the
Yeah.
fact that the story doesn't matter that it's black in any way. Like, it's not like.
If it makes you feel any better, I say rando white guy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't care. I'm just saying that, like, a lot of times, like, I'm guilty of it as well. Like, often, like, when I'm describing someone, you know, it's like my parents saying, like, oh, I met this couple when we were on vacation and they were gay. Okay, did dad sleep with the guy? Because otherwise, the
How's that
story doesn't
relevant?
like how. Yeah. They're like, oh, it's not. It's just they were so lovely. I'm like, okay, thanks. Like, I don't think my parents
like
like.
surprisingly lovely.
No, like I don't think that they feel like it's wrong to do. You know, it's like when my grandfather would sort of say things about black people. It wasn't. He was just that's how he grew up. You know.
It's a very mild form of racism.
Yes, right. It's
Gentle.
socially acceptable.
It kind of well, but in this case, it rounds down because there's another guy with the kids who's white. So if I were to say the other guy, he would have no idea who I'm talking about.
See, the things that you don't see because you're sitting on that side
I
of the
know.
table. You got him that time.
Yeah.
Call me one. So we're gonna make these rooms a little smaller, makes it a little bit easier not to have to erase stuff all the time. Alright, so this is the room that you're in now. You crawl through that little, if there's combat, obviously I'll drop bigger, but otherwise there's no sense. So there's like a conveyor belt that had those machines in the last room. You're in this room right now that have these big like hooks with bodies hanging on them.
How many?
The hooks?
How many dead
Still
people on
your
the
favorite
hooks?
part.
Oh, there's like, let's say 9 or 10. Not a large amount, but a lot of the ones that are hanging, you see like some of them they look like they've got like you can see like parts of their body is cut open, but it looks like when it's cut open there's no blood inside. It's just like rubbery skin. And you're not like close enough to be able to really tell if it's actually skin or if it's rubber, but it looks like there's no blood in these bodies at all. That's me.
Kind of like in Bloodlines when they
I don't know.
when they drain that lady to make what's her name?
See, not neighbors. Not sure.
Anyways, Stewart's the box. The lady that's after everybody is like she's one of the she's a princess. She's a princess. No, anyways, they end up taking out all the bones and the guts and everything else and filling her skin with a demon.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, I can check those bodies.
So hang on. So there are these different hooks that are hanging. Now keep in mind that the ceiling in this place is probably like 40 feet. There are kind of like the way that the walls are kind of like stainless steel sheets on whatever the wall is made out of, maybe concrete blocks. And then about 10 feet up, there's like sort of girders that go up. The ceiling is much taller in this particular spot. And like so there's like a higher ceiling, and the higher ceiling has on it, I'm just drawing it as a 3D just so it makes a little bit more sense. There's like tracks that go on the walls, on ceilings, and there's what are holding these hooks with these bodies on, and there are like slits in the wall in different places for them to go through. None of the lights are on in this place. There's a number of computer screens. Remember I mentioned there was a bunch of computers in here. They're all like rack mounted, like old. They look weird. There's like a mixture of computers that you'd see in like the 50s with like big tape drives, like big tape reels, and they're moving just like they would like reversing, going back and forth. And then they seem to be plugged into regular, like more modern rack mounted stuff. And then the monitors are the same. It's like a mishmash of like CRT monitors and also, like cathode ray tube monitors, and also that have like green text sort of scrolling along, and then regular monitors, like LCD monitors beside them, just all connected together. The only light that's in the room is coming from these computer monitors, and it's being sort of reflected up against these ghastly bodies that are like hanging sort of.
So they're on rails that looks like they would just sort of be moved along and then going through that.
Yeah, like, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, like factory sort of stuff.
Right, but it doesn't like there's no like area. It doesn't look like there's any like raised up areas in the room where someone could like walk up and like do anything to them. They're like sort of like hanging, 30 feet up.
Oh.
That
So
was
they're not
sick.
like eye level.
That's because I was like, so it's like they're hanging and then they're 40 feet above that.
No. There's
They're like way
there's
up.
this regular ceiling, and then there's a second bolted ceiling, and the rails are in the ceiling of the top, right at the top, and so the hooks are hanging, and the people are like 30 feet up.
Oh,
How
okay.
do you see the second ceiling after the first ceiling?
Well, in that like it
It's
looks
glass,
like
maybe?
look like if you were to look into like the room from the side, it looked like all the other rooms that you've been into have all been, let's say, 20 feet high ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
It's 20 feet high ceiling, but then this one has like what looks like to be like on the walls there's girders or like I-beams, sort of as if the ceiling has been raised here, and then there's the actual ceiling is here. So then like this is at the bottom, it's centered
on that way.
yeah. So the cinder blocks are like at the bottom, all the cinder blocks are covered in stainless steel plates, but at the top this is all like exposed cinder block here, and then there's like these beams that come up in like a second level basically.
But like other than the way we came in, there's no other way out.
There are two doors
Okay.
in this place. There's one door that goes back out here, and then there's another door that also goes out this side as well. So like I said, there's all these like hooks and like bodies lying, and then there's also these gurneys, and the gurneys have bodies lying on them, and the people lying on the gurneys are wearing like street clothes.
And they look to be alive, you said last time.
They look to be alive. There's like IV drips next to them all, and they're all kind of just like lying, sort of like listless. They're not moving. I mean, you haven't really checked them for life signs or not. I did say they were alive, so I sort of gave that away. But yeah, they're sort of like, but there's no like sheets on them or blankets on them. They're just lying in their street clothes. Some of them, their leg is like half lying off the thing. One of them looks like he's bitten by a dog. If you can see, like his leg is all like kind of maybe the pants are kind of torn up. And then there's a bandage around his leg, but it looks like the bandage was made from him like tearing his shirt off and making his own bandage.
I'm gonna see if I can get Archimedes into the computer system.
Okay. So do you have any computer skills?
No.
Do you have like computer operation?
I have electronics operation.
Yeah, computer operation.
Okay, so you guys could work together. What's your success?
I got level 11.
You're level 11. What's your level?
12.
So I'll let you. You can give. It's probably better if he gives you +1.
Okay.
So you can roll on a 13. Whoa, you can do it too. You've also got it on a 13. So Drew could give you a 14, but I thought you were trying to climb up and look at bodies.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and climb up and look at the
So can you roll on your perception, which is here? You've got a good perception.
3 dice?
So roll, yeah, it's always 3 dice. So you roll, you're trying to roll underneath the number, whatever it is.
Okay.
Right? So you rolled 10, 11. So you're well under the 13. So you notice that like over on this corner here, sort of like leant up against the wall near the door, there's a number of ladders. There's a couple of ladders that are just like A-frame ladders that open, but then there are also some ones that are like really long that would like go up to the second level.
So I'll take a look at it.
Okay. So you start setting up the ladder. Ruben, you can roll here, see what you get. You got to roll under a 13.
14.
Okay. So you are having a little bit of difficulty connecting Archimedes up to the machine. Sort of like the plugs don't seem to be lining up properly. And Archimedes is like, this system seems awfully filthy. I don't think it's the kind of place that you want a computer like me to be moving around in. This is not good for me.
Why do you get so prissy?
Well,
I don't know. Why not?
Well, I need to know what's going on here.
Maybe we should have
Want to get rewired?
listened a little bit better in school. Well, you can roll a computer operation and like trying to like use the
Yeah.
system here. And what's your computer skill?
12.
There you go. So you managed to sort of, you're having difficulty understanding like the analog systems, like you don't really understand the CRT monitors that sort of have green text, sort of like Fallout 4, like
These
like
damn
what's-
millennials.
I have no clue what this is. CRT?
Yes.
It's a cathode ray tube.
Oh.
CRT. Yeah. So like the old school TVs, like like when you drop them and then go.
Yeah, those are fun.
Except you wouldn't see them go.
No.
You would just
Right.
see them go.
Yeah.
But that's what they did, is they basically would implode and then explode.
I threw one off a balcony
This
once. It was
is the
fun.
vacuum inside. Cool.
I actually pulled it apart first, and then I read the warning about the radioactivity,
Hey.
and then I threw it off the balcony and watched it go. It was great. Yeah. Yeah, it's like X radiation that's out of those things. You open up the tube. Yeah, I have my face over it.
What's in there?
Radiation. So you can
From
get
what,
an
like,
image.
what-
Isotope.
What's the
Isotope. Uranium isotope 235. I don't
That's what I mean, like what element is in there that's making it.
know. Well, why don't you Google it? Why don't we see? Why don't we stop role playing and decide what's in a cathode ray
Yes,
tube?
I would like that very much.
All right. CRT. Radioactive.
You never know. Uranium's pretty cheap on the market these days.
Especially when you get those Russian TVs.
Heck yeah.
Older CRT type television monitors used to emit very low energy X-rays, which are distantly related to gamma radiation, but it only happened when they were switched on. Since the 60s, emissions of this type have been very directly regulated. As far as I know, there are no measurable X-ray emissions from plasma, LCD, or OLED flash screens, obviously. As a matter of household dust attracted to CRT screens have been found to be slightly radioactive. The theory is that caused by the naturally occurring and short-lived radon gas particles in the atmosphere. As they break down, the resultant decay products attach themselves to the positively charged dust particles and then are attracted to the screen's negatively charged surface.
That's what I was breathing in.
Ah,
That's great. Yeah, pretty well. My face was like right here, so pretty much.
But how far did you drop your TV?
No. I opened it first.
Oh no, as long as you didn't like open the tube though.
I did.
Okay.
And then I read the warning, and then I pitched it off the
So
balcony.
that's what happened, maybe. That explains. Maybe Ruben, did you do that too? Because that would give an excuse as to why you played that terrible werewolf game. If you inhaled
No.
from the no?
Alright.
Alright, second thing here. So you're crawling up the climb up ladder. Can you roll on your climbing skill?
I think.
Did you get climbing?
Did I get climbing?
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
Let's roll on your dex.
Eight.
Yeah, you make it. Even if you had failed, you probably would have made it. I didn't see how badly. If you failed, you might have hurt yourself. But if you
Strength, dude.
Yeah, so you're just like climbing up the ladder here. As you climb up the ladder, you notice that you could also probably grab hold of the sides of the I-beams and go higher if you really wanted to. But you can probably reach the bodies from the ladder.
Then I'll take the ladder. I'll
Okay,
keep going with
okay.
the ladder.
So you climb up the ladder. So yeah, it seems like I said, like the bodies are hanging on the they're not wearing, these ones are not wearing any clothing or any sort of, they don't seem to have any distinguishing like tags or anything on them either. You do notice that they do have the same, sort of a, on their Adam's apple, there's like a flap of skin that you can lift up. And when you like lift it up and you look underneath it, there's like some sort of metal area in their voice box or
How
something.
neat.
But then anyway, otherwise you can see, it feels like, it's definitely skinned,
Yeah.
but it feels like chicken breast. Like it feels like chicken breast, and it's got the, and it's like the
Like the flappy skin?
yeah,
On the
well, I mean
chicken?
all the skin. I
Chicken
mean, it's
skin?
but they've got regular like skin on. It's not like, you know, like the chicken when you pluck it.
Yeah.
It's got like, it looks like that.
Okay.
But when you open it up, like the skin looks more like chicken breast because even though like humans are red meat. Yeah, but even like,
Oh,
but
okay.
you know how
There's
like,
still muscle tissue underneath,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the blood.
right, there's no blood, so they look like, it looks like raw
Yeah.
chicken. If you know that like humans, obviously when you cut them open, their meat is red, right? This is like a white meat sort of situation, but they're definitely human, and it's definitely skin. It's not rubber, but it looks like. I mean, you're not a doctor, but it doesn't look like you see any traces of any sort of blood at all in these bodies.
Can I like pick it off the hook and just drop it down?
Yep.
Right, doing that.
You just like drop things.
Well,
from
I'd
the
rather no. I'd rather investigate it on the ground than
Watch it
up
go.
on a ladder, however many feet.
Yeah, so you drop it like 35 feet to the ground.
Cool.
And it
Falls
a lot of bones break when it hits the ground.
That's all right.
But you do also hear there's a strange like clanking, like a metal noise, as well when it hits the ground. Ruben, you're not watching her like
No.
do this, right? So when you think, you like flip around, like it's sort of startled, and you look, and for a split second, Ruben, you swear that you see it move.
Fuck.
But you're not sure. You're just like, oh, it's just like a trick of my imagination that it's moving.
Fucking
It's clearly dead.
human chicken hybrids are gonna
Fuck.
You notice when you lifted it off the hook.
Bloodless chicken chunks.
The hook was actually on the one that you lifted it off.
Yeah.
The hook was through the head, wasn't through the body.
Yeah, like the base of the
The
skull.
base of the skull, and when you lifted it off, the skull stayed on the hook. And
Oh.
just like, and you just
What
like
the-
lifted, it was like it had like it was hanging like from the flesh
Yeah.
of its face. And like when you lift it, it was like the head was like an empty skin condom, and it just like falls on the ground without a. And so the head that
So the
sits,
skull is still up there?
the skull is there, like stuck on the hook,
Yeah.
but it actually looks like if here's the skull, like the side.
Like, is the
I
skull
did figure right. The
manufactured
head
in
is
part of
like
the
a
hook?
empty
Here's
skin
like the
condom,
side
is
of
it?
like what? Hang on, like here, like here's a terrible looking skull, like a sideways skull.
Yeah.
It looks like you thought that it was like this, right? Like a hook,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it actually looks like this part is like a socket, and this part of the hook is like connected to the back of the skull.
Oh no, like it's a hanger with the shoulders that are widened so that when you hang up your coat, your coat doesn't crease in weird places. When you buy expensive
I know what you mean.
jackets and
Wow,
things,
how
yeah,
is
yeah.
that? How is this like that?
It's just like a dummy head or something like that. Like acts as that for the skin. And so
Oh,
you can
I see
hang the
what you
skin
mean.
up.
I thought this was like, something that's like programming the head to.
No,
just a
there's
hook.
no. It's a hook, and this is. It looks like when you like look at the skull. The skull is actually just metal.
It's literally just a
It's
hat
just
hook.
like a metal, yeah.
The hat hook in the shape of a skull that happened to have skin around it. Okay. Alright.
Cool.
Well, I may as well
What
go down.
Okay. And
Investigate
do you want
first.
to pull enough other bodies down as well, or just the one?
How many are within reach?
Just for fun.
5 more.
Alright, let's do it.
Okay.
5.
You also notice that you can probably like the hooks with the heads on them.
Yeah.
It feels like when you sort of, you can grab if you want to sort of try and grab the head and see if it moves or not, or do you want to just leave the heads where they are?
I'll take one head.
Okay.
I will try and take one head.
So you get the other bodies down. So you'll have to you feel like you probably have to jump and grab the head to pull it down. You don't know if you could sort of it's kind of slippery to put your hand on to pull it
Can
down.
I just try to reach
Yeah,
it
of course
instead?
you can. Yeah,
Alright.
roll on Dex -2 to not fall off the ladder while you're putting your head
I
on.
fucking hate ladders, piece of shit, 10 balls.
Okay, so you slip,
Yeah, that's what
and
I
when you
thought.
slip, you can either jump down to the floor or you can jump to the head. You feel like jumping for the floor, you might cause yourself some damage, but if you jump to the head, if you grab it, then one of these guys could move the ladder and you can get down on
Or
it.
I can swing or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get you to grab
No,
the
I
head.
know. I'm just looking to see if I have acrobatics or something, which I don't.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I'll try and go for the head.
Okay, so roll on Dex +1 because you're quite close to the head. So
Also
roll
really
under 12. Oh, you miss. You go plummeting to the floor. You can roll a dodge move.
Okay.
So you can roll an 8. Roll under an 8
With 3 dice?
with 3 dice. Not a good roll.
That's not gonna happen.
Can. Just did.
Oh,
That's a good roll. That's a good roll to pass on.
7. All right, there we go.
That's a good roll to pass on. You hit the ground and your feet are like hurt because of how hard
Yeah,
you
the
hit
impact.
the impact of the ground, but then you sort of break your fall and you roll and you don't take any damage.
Just to clarify this character again, this is still like the big
big
huge,
monster lady.
huge giant lady, right?
She's not huge or giant. She's normal size.
Oh, monster lady.
I thought she was like, wasn't she one of the ones that we were fighting and then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she was like super
She was like
big.
Big. She's as wide as she's tall, but she's not like necessarily.
I'm big and muscly, but
Yeah.
like I'm only 5'8".
she's not like a giant, like
No.
I'm 5'8". Like that's.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
she's
she's
just
really
really
big
big. She
bone.
just looks
She's really
very
big.
like.
There's
She
a lot
looks-
of muscles.
She looks abnormally
gorilla
like,
shaped.
like you know, a beyond normal steroid use. Like she looks augmented in some way.
Like a gorilla.
When does Battle Angel Alita come out? Is this supposed to be
I
out?
just saw the preview for that.
It looks so good.
I didn't know what it was.
Battle Angel Alita. It's like
It's like an old anime.
it's like it's an
Oh.
old anime, and they've made a real life.
Oh,
like,
nice.
and it's like
Except it's
and you're all-
animated
they're all-
too, though. But it's like
she's
live action,
she's
but
got some
animated.
she's got like a live act like an anime like lie up to make her
Yeah.
eyes bigger and
Okay,
stuff.
yeah, I remember.
But she's like a cyborg and she fucking fights these crazy. And it looks awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to come out. Okay, Google.
We saw that in the preview to new Predator movie.
Yeah.
When does the new Battle Angel Alita movie come out? December 21st.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing the preview for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Did you see the new Predator?
No, it's good.
It's very Hollywood, but very interesting.
Well, the last one I had Adrian Brody in it. That's pretty Hollywood too, I would think.
Yeah.
Was that the last one? Or was that the one before the last
That
one?
was the last one. Predators.
That was
That
terrible.
was the
That was a
Predator.
terrible movie.
That
Is
was
this
the
like a
last one.
reboot?
I thought it was supposed
it's
to
a
be like a
sequel.
literal sequel to
To
the.
the Predators.
Yeah.
Is Adrian Brody in it again, or did he die in the last one?
But you know, wait, the Mad TV guy peeled or whatever.
Keegan Michael Keith. That's his name.
Oh, is it? Yeah, yeah.
He plays the Predator?
No.
It's like a funny Predator? It's like
No.
just Bill Cosby
The whole,
play the Predator?
no, he's in it.
No.
You know,
Mostly
it's
it's
like that?
It's half comedy though. It's really like.
Doesn't
it's
play
just
a
with
lot.
these-
He just like goes and he puts drugs in their drinks and then they drink it and then he's like, hey, 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 have some Jello, you know, protein.
What's this from?
Bill Cosby.
Oh.
Because Bill Cosby is a
Sorry, I
predator.
missed that.
The
Oh,
proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. The proof is in the Jello. There's a show on YouTube called House of Cosby's. It's animated. He wrote a cease and desist to them about 15 years ago when it first came out. It is excellent. I highly recommend you watch it. It is ridiculously bad, but it's also really funny. So there you go.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. House of Cosby's. It's about a guy that builds a cloning machine and he steals one of Bill Cosby's hairs after
Oh my
a piece
God.
of hair from the floor after one of the sets, and then he builds a House of Cosby's, and they're all like genetically like retarded in various ways, like but they're all like
They're all
obsessed
Bill
in different
something.
things. They all have different. They're all Bill Cosby.
That's awesome.
You're just making this up. Like,
No,
No,
it's a
I'm
real
gonna
show.
look for that.
It's a real show.
That's my marathon tonight.
Wisconsin's.
Yeah.
I even know the theme show by heart. That's how the theme music. And
Yeah.
that's how many times I've seen it.
Ain't
Anyway.
no party like a Cosby party.
No, that's S Club.
Although it works. You won't remember a thing.
Alright, so what the hell are we doing here?
I don't know. What do we want to do? So you've
Yeah.
dropped some bodies to the ground. You've gotten down and you've managed not to hurt yourself.
They should be playing on that.
Oh my God! Remember that when there was a couple of years when like every single YouTube video was like had let the bodies hit the floor as the background, and it was people playing like COD 3. They're like,
This would be appropriate.
terrible.
this is very
Yes.
appropriate. Bodies actually hitting the floor. Yeah.
It's still literally a shit song.
Are you? So you're still on the computer?
Do
By the way, I got the Destiny 2 emoji where you stroke chicken. I just had to let people know that. There's an emoji you can get in Destiny 2.
What's Destiny 2?
Oh,
It's like
video game.
it's like video game where you're
It's like an MMO.
Yeah. Run around anyway.
It's a really good game.
There's a thing, and I've got like a digital illumination of a chicken in my arms, and I like stroke it. and it's like an emoji.
That's
Emoji.
hilarious.
I bought it last night. I spent all of my currency on this fucking like $3,200 on this fucking
Where's it?
chicken.
Where's it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still on the computer.
Yep.
It's a lot of complicated data that you don't really understand. There are some sort of vague, maybe microbiology terms in there that you sort of recognize, but it
Can help
seems
with those.
it seems like the majority of this computer system is records, like spreadsheet data, nothing too in terms of information. It seems like a lot of codes are being used. You don't really understand what they are.
Okay, I have the bioengineering skill though, so can I?
Okay, you want to go over? You're not gonna hang out with the bodies.
No, I think I'll go over there.
Okay. Okay. So roll on your skill.
12. No. 14.
Oh.
Some of the terms are sort of familiar to you, but you don't. And then there's some content in there as well. There's some codes that that seem familiar to you, but you don't know. You can't place them. Like stuff that is sort of like familiar to you, but you don't know why.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're looking. So what are you doing with these bodies exactly? Do you want to like wear one as like a suit? You put it on over.
I want to see what that metal thing is on
Okay.
his throat.
So so the one that's got the metal thing in its throat, that's not. It seems like that wasn't the metal thing that hit the floor. It seemed like there was one of them had the first one that fell had shock absorbers built in between like its knees and its thighs, like some sort of metal, and it seems like it's metal that's grafted to the muscle. Like the pieces are like grafted together in some strange way, and it seems like the area that's interconnected. There's some sort of this strange like foamy plastic that has blood vessels going through it.
Okay.
So all the blood vessels look really weird because they're empty and they're translucent, and they're just like interdisposed into this like foamy mass between where the muscles start and where the bones of the knee and the leg are.
So can I turn the whole thing inside out?
Yep.
Alright.
Yep. So you turn the whole body inside out, more or less. There's the only part that turns inside out easily is the head because it's empty. The rest of the body is basically a normal body. It's got all the guts, it's got all the parts. There's just no head, no skull, there's no brain or anything in this body at all.
Okay.
But you manage to sort of, because you're strong, you sort of just you tear stuff out and you turn it inside out. There are bones in there, but the bones look again to be very artificial because they're so clean. Like the whole body looks like, you would say it looks vat grown.
It's almost like the Westworld.
Yeah, it looks like very similar to that. Like really, that bone white is like almost plastic in fashion. And you also notice that like the stomach, see, very very small, almost like it doesn't exist. It's like the esophagus goes down and it goes directly into the small intestine.
Yeah.
There's like no like stomach to be seen, and the small intestine is short. The large and the small intestine are very very short, almost as if they're just a straight line. And it seems like, and again, you're not a biologist, you don't really know, but it seems like that was the one of the maybe the benefits of it being this way or designed this way is there's more space for like muscle in the core.
Hey, whatever happened to that? Wasn't there a nuclear reactor that was going to go off that was on the timer? Is that
correct?
Is that still a countdown for that?
It's not like you're like holding like a thing, but I think Ruben's character might have some sort of watch with some information on that. But I consider as someone who's a nuclear specialist, you might have that information on hand, but I don't know.
Is there, I guess. Yeah,
You would estimate that there's probably there was like I think it was at one point it was like you had 9 hours
Right.
to reach the core to figure out what was wrong to cool it before something would happen.
Otherwise, either that or get out.
Either that, get out. You'd estimate you probably about 2 hours have gone by.
Shit. Yeah. I want to know what the deal with those different colored bullets is. It's been bugging me the whole time.
Yeah.
Now I really want to wear that human skin now.
What the fuck?
Go for it.
Doing it.
You do you.
I'm
I
gonna
don't know
throw
if
that
you can
shit on.
you can't really wear it because you've got your own muscle. The one thing you could do though is you could sort of cut or tear the head off
Yeah.
and wear the face over your face.
If you feel inclined.
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
We'll throw it on. We'll throw
Okay.
it on.
Useful. Alright.
All right, you
Getting
pull
you
on,
done.
you pull on this weird second face.
Well, I have this thing to keep my brain in place. I need to cover that shit up.
Oh, that's right, your brain blocks.
Yeah.
So you're not just being weird. You're not just being funny.
Well, it's a bit of that too.
Yeah, okay. Well, it seems like we're not getting anything out of the computers, and Archimedes refuses to point up to the computers.
No, you just can't really come up physically. Failed to roll, son.
So now I've got a flesh hat on my face?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thing you just want to look like Homer. You know how Homer has he's got no hair. He's got that little
Yeah.
you've got no hair, and your head is very soft and smooth, and rubbery, and not really yellow, but kind of you kind of look very similar. You kind of have like a Homer head.
Alright.
And when you move your mouth, the lips sort of move a little bit, but these lips are all hanging off your face a lot more.
Okay.
But it doesn't really impede you're going to cut off the eyelids so that your eyes can look through the
definitely.
holes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but you've got a very pronounced set of eyebrows on this.
Good to know. So should we get out of here and go explore a different room? What does everyone think?
You're the leader, aren't you? Who's the leader of the party?
I see. I'm the leader. Get out of here.
Okay. Which way do you want to go?
Through the door.
There's two doors. There's a door that that heads to the underneath where the hooks were coming from. Two holes. So there's two holes in the ceiling up here, and this is where both sets of the hooks come out of. So think come out of here.
Yeah.
All the hooks come out of this one wall, and then there's one door in this room that where one of the hooks leads, and the other hook led back into this room, and it looks like one leads all the way across and out the other side, but there's no doors in that wall.
Okay, let's go through this door.
This door, not this door now?
Whichever.
I'm asking which one you want to go to. They both have different things in them, so.
Let's go through
Let's
that.
just go through that.
Lead, oh mighty leader.
Okay, so you lead through this door here, and there is a small room, very, very tiny. I'm just gonna draw it in bigger. It's you open the door like this, and there's a circular, the wall is completely smooth, and right here there is a hatch with a submarine door hatch.
Oh yeah.
In the floor.
Alright, let's open it.
Open that.
Okay.
Yep.
Nothing bad could possibly be behind it.
Okay.
Only one thing to do in this
Yeah.
room.
You open up the you open up the hatch, and you look at, and it looks like there's a ladder that leads down, and the ladder leads down about maybe 3 feet, and then there's water. And the water is lit. There's some sort of lights or illumination coming
Can we
from
see
some
how
of the water.
the water is?
Also, your Geiger counter starts ticking a little bit.
Oh, fuck.
Not like crazy, but it's
So it's a little radiated.
Can we see how deep the water is? Because of the light.
Because of the light, you'd estimate that it's maybe 9 feet. And it looks like when you get down there that there's maybe some sort of passageway that goes off.
Like a sewer type thing?
Yeah, but the water looks clean.
Yeah.
I think we have two options. We can go the other way and try to look for more key cards, or we can just go down here and see some crazy shit.
I mean,
Potentially die.
I mean, it's 9 feet of water, and I have a giant suit, so I wouldn't be able to swim unless I take off the suit, in which I would have no protection.
So you also do have an NBC suit that you could wear.
Oh yeah,
And the NBC suit has like an oxygen supply on it.
that's true.
Yeah, we both have that.
Everyone has one. Well, except for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
What you gonna do?
Hold my breath.
I'm just telling you what's here. You don't
I
have to
will-
go through down there.
Hold my damn breath.
You don't have to go down
Is she
there.
too big to swim though? Like, is she
No, no.
still swimming?
While you
Okay.
go swimming,
No.
None of us have. I think it's
We
insane
can
to
try to
swim.
swim. Oh, wait,
I feel like
Oh,
you
we
have
do
another
have some-
sheet. You don't have another sheet?
I don't know.
You do have some.
Don't know when that was here.
Oh no, that's the end. That's fine. Yeah, because it's skills and then techniques and
Yeah.
so you don't have swimming.
No, I can't swim.
You also might be heavy enough.
Probably.
Got a high health roll. So
What were we trying to do with those key? What were we trying to collect the colored key cards?
So we could open up the door to the reactor. so we can shut it down.
yeah, well, you have to. Yeah, basically, actually, what you have to do is you have to figure out what's causing the error.
Yeah.
There's an error happening with
Right.
with the reactor, and it's difficult to know what is actually causing the error until you get down there to the core system.
Which we can't get in. That's the part where you need the key cards.
Maybe
Isn't it? I thought it was because the.
nobody knows what the key cards are for.
Yeah, we were right.
There's an elevator that requires you to
To
use
the-
those key cards.
It was the elevator to go to the reactor.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what you told me.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what
maybe
I-
that's the case.
Whoa! What?
Oh, so maybe it's not.
Maybe I did.
What?
say that.
I can't tell you. This is a game. Yes, the
Right.
elevator says reactor, but does it actually go to the reactor? Does it get there? I don't know.
Okay.
Of course I know, but I mean, I can't tell you these things. You haven't gone down there yet.
Okay.
But I mean, if you saw a door that said order 1886, would you
Oh,
open it?
Fuck.
No, you'd be like, no thanks. You know?
What?
Even though-
Order
Yeah.
No, we're not going over this.
What?
We're not going over this again.
Rebecca, you want to tell them what the order 1886 is?
Oh, no.
Somebody.
So
It's a fucking game that I pre-ordered once and didn't really like it. Traded it in, and now this fucking guy won't shut up about it.
How does Corey know what this is?
Because we went through this whole thing with him telling every time I bring it up, I always bring it up in front of new people, and then he has to explain it because I won't explain it. So then it's just an ongoing stupid joke.
He's explained it at least twice this evening.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone else to show up.
It's great because you said that earlier too, where every time there's a new person you mention it and he has to tell
That's
it.
it.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like deja vu. It's
Yeah, right all over again.
It's
Hey,
coming-
come on, it's better than the dick sucking stuff,
It's like
at least, right?
coming
I mean, you got one or the other. So I figure like the 1886 stuff is at least like somewhat good.
sweet.
I
Alright.
All right, so you going down into the water? Are you going back to the other door? What's the plan?
Are they just staring into the
I
water?
think
There's
we
like-
should, I think we should go into the water. There's gotta be
I
something
think-
crazy down there.
I think we should not go.
Okay,
in the
let's not
water.
go. Whatever.
Doesn't.
Such a push.
You could just push them in.
I mean, there's.
Yeah, you could. He's standing like.
Yeah.
I'm going loopy at this point, having flashbacks, you know.
Yeah.
No, like severe flashbacks.
Okay.
We should
I just wanted like
go.
You get roughly shoved into the water. You hit the water. It is extremely cold, as you would expect in an Arctic base, even though you're underground. It's extremely cold. Not cold like it's like, liquid nitrogen cold, but it's pretty chilly.
Nibbling.
It's nippling. Yeah. You're wearing enough gear that you sink pretty quickly, unless you grab the ladder and just like stop yourself from sinking.
Yes, I do that.
The only thing that doesn't sink is your machine gun, because the canister of fuel that's attached to the flamethrower that's attached to your assault rifle is pressurized and keeps the gun from sinking.
Great.
Oh yeah, I'm also jumping in.
It's a very
So she-
small
so she
space.
pushed me in and I'm just.
So if you jump in, you're gonna basically land on his head, and he's gonna get pushed in the water.
I thought it went further
Well, he
Oh,
goes
is it
down
moved
like
yet?
9 feet. And
Is
he's
it
like,
moved
I don't
yet?
know if you stopped yourself or if you went under. I don't know if you're wearing your NBC suit either. I don't think you at least had a
No,
glove
I
on.
took that off.
Yeah, right. So you're just wearing normal clothes.
Yeah.
So if you
just-
stop, are you stopping yourself or are you sliding down into the water? Basically, like, look, imagine
I'll
this.
stop myself.
Imagine this.
Like I'm just-
This is like side view, right? Here's the ladder.
Yeah.
Here's the water level. And you're like,
Okay. Oh, I thought it was like I could move along and stay above.
No,
that
no,
and just
no, no,
swim.
no.
I gotta swim under.
yeah, it's
Oh.
underwater.
Oh,
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, absolutely.
She chose down.
So what I'm asking, Drew, is are you stopping yourself on the ladder here or are you continuing to go down?
Careful not to dislocate your arm on the way down.
I will.
And it needs to be a fairly instant decision. Like when you
Okay.
first got pushed in the water, did you grab the ladder or did you let yourself sink?
I let myself think.
Okay, so you jump on top of him and you don't hit him because he falls, he's down below. So he's down there.
Yeah. And I'm like swimming this way.
Okay, so you need to roll on your health, which is your
well,
HT.
I'm gonna die, aren't I?
No, don't worry about it. Don't stress, don't stress.
You got it.
As long as you pass.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, pass by one.
So you are able to hold your breath for 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay? 1 minute is, do
That's
you
it.
have swimming skill?
No.
Okay, so you can move 3 hexes, which is 15 feet. So basically you can move, oh no, you can move more than that. Sorry, you can move 5 hexes. And if you try to find things to pull yourself along, you can probably move about 8 hexes.
And that's it. Total.
Before your lungs start, before you need to make another health roll to stop yourself from letting go of your breath. So roll 3 dice. Let me hand myself that.
Man, if I had known this
No.
situation, I would.
Well, you also could have grabbed the ladder. You knew there was a ladder there before I said you grab the ladder or not. You said no.
No.
So you're gonna swim. So you knew you did have a chance to stop yourself. So you do find there are things that you can pull yourself along with. So there you can move a total of eight hexes. So you can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can move to like this distance. Do you have a flashlight?
Yes.
Did you turn it on before you fell in the water?
I did.
Okay, good.
Amazingly. Yeah.
Yeah, did you really?
Of course it did. What do you think I am?
You can see about this far with the flashlight, and then it's just there are some sort of murky
It's-
light somewhere
yeah,
down here,
it's kind of lit, right?
kind of lit. Yeah. So you fall on top of you sink.
Yeah.
So are you starting to swim right away?
Well,
You
yeah, I
start-
swam right away, so she won't fall.
Okay. So you start pulling yourself down into this passage right here. So yeah, you are you also sink very rapidly to the bottom
Yes.
as well. You can also roll your health, please. When you're under 12. So you have 2 minutes. Do you have swimming?
No.
So you have 2 minutes. So you can move 12 spaces.
Sweet.
So you can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You could effectively, we don't know if there's any up things here anywhere, but this is effectively how far you can travel.
Okay.
Rubeni, you're staying up on the thing, or are you going down?
No, I'm gonna have to fucking chase after these fucking
Okay.
people.
Are you going to put on your NBC suit first,
Yeah.
or are you just going to go in?
Yeah, no, I'm putting on my NBC suit.
Okay, so roll 1d6. It's going to take you 6 minutes to put the suit on. So you start putting, you have to take your other suit off.
Yeah.
You start putting the other suit on.
What suit does he have on now?
He's got a bomb disposal
Yeah.
suit on.
Yeah, my ballistic suit. That's why I didn't ever take damage.
So we could potentially drown in the time it takes him just to take the suit.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Just to put that into perspective.
you're gonna be here in 1 minute. You're gonna be here in 1 minute. There's gonna be another 5 minutes of him putting on the suit up here somewhere before he even gets down there. Okay, Drew, you get to here. You are this guy, I think. Were you this? Oh, this guy was. This guy. Okay. And you are this one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh no, so you got to here, and you got to here. There is
that far ahead if she came out after.
Oh, I'm just.
That's gonna be 2 minutes. I'll be there in 2 minutes.
Yeah, you guys are both
So-
here in 1 minute. So it definitely does continue. There's no air bubble or other thing. It's sort of just, and you can sort of see up ahead. It looks like there might be something around here, but you can't really see what it is. It looks very, very murky. You can't really see properly. Yeah. Look at that. The water also feels like there's a really mild like it almost feels like there's a mild electric current going through it, but not strong, just something is afoot.
There's totally like zombie electric eels like.
So Ruben, you've got another 5 minutes left. Putting on your suit. Drew, can you please make a health roll? You've got to pass by at least one.
No.
Okay.
12, 16.
So-
I failed by 4.
So Drew lets out his breath and starts sort of floundering a little bit in the water.
Okay.
You've still got another minute of movement left. Are you going to drag him with you, or are you going to try? Are you going to bring him back? Because you can bring him back.
I'll drag him with me.
Okay. So you move
Give me
ahead.
like AR. Come on, do something.
You move him ahead. You're sort of dragging him along. Can you make another health roll, please?
Just like whatever.
Get over here.
13. Another fail.
Okay.
This time.
You stop moving. His body stops moving after about when you get to about here.
That means I gotta hurry.
Can you roll one more time, please?
Don't lose it. Don't lose it.
Well,
Don't lose
how could I possibly lose again? That's how.
it.
No. Oh, you don't.
13.
Now, do you want to use a
Failed by
point?
1. Oh man, that's my last point.
Well, otherwise you're gonna die.
Okay.
Otherwise you're gonna die. You reach the this end sort of portion,
Yes.
and it seems like there at the end, it's like somewhere down here, there's some sort of a fan or some sort of a water turbine that's sucking the water this way, and it's starting to like pull you along. You
Cool.
do see that like above you right here,
Yeah.
there is some sort of an upward space or a panel or like a grid.
Okay.
Grill, and you don't have to roll on your strength because it's like basically it's effortless for you to hold on. It's
Okay.
effortless for you to hold him, and it's effortless for you to like stop yourself halfway, punch up, and like you don't have to roll any of that stuff because it's like there's no sense in it. You're
Is it
supernaturally
30 strength.
yeah ridiculous. Like there's no
Alright.
You could hold to put it in perspective, you could hold a 900-pound weight like dangling off a cliff and like hold it like just dead weighted.
Cool. Alright.
So.
Yeah, so it's awesome up there.
Okay, so yeah, so basically you have to like push him up. It's another
Yeah.
pipe. It's got water in it, but you push him up and you push his head above water. Ruben, so what do you guys? So yeah, you're passed out, but you're not dead. You're unconscious, but you're not dead. Do you have first aid?
Nope.
Okay. So are you gonna climb up the ladder? What do you want to do? You're sort of in this.
Oh, there's a ladder?
Yeah, there's another ladder.
Yeah, definitely climb.
Okay. So you managed to get up the ladder into another room, and hopefully when Ruben comes up here, then I'll continue. I'll erase this and we'll draw up the next. There we go. Another 4 minutes later, we'll just say that you're like catching your breath.
Yes.
Ruben, your suit is on.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Yeah, I just got it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just got given it.
Nice.
This is like
Can't wait for the
all-
Netflix show.
Is there a Netflix show coming out too?
The collector's edition.
Yeah, man.
There's a Netflix show with Dr. Crystal.
There will be. It's in production right now.
What's it called?
Dark Crystal?
Original. Do I have another one?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the network will call it. supposed to be like an immersion thing.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay. Another 4 minutes later, Ruben, you get the suit on.
Mm.
Are you gonna go down there?
Yeah.
Are you gonna bring your other suit with you? Or are you gonna leave it up in this room?
Well, I have to leave it or else it's gonna drag me down.
Probably it's gonna be difficult to move through, but you could if you wanted to.
No. I'm just gonna go on without it.
Okay. You climb down the ladder. The radioactivity of the water is higher than you originally anticipated. You know, you're glad that you're wearing your suit because you're fully protected. However, you feel that like a normal human being dragged through this sort of water for no more than 1 or 2 minutes would have some sort of life-lasting damage from radiation. You probably think there would probably cause some sort of like mutations to any future like offspring that person may have, and also may cause some sort of mild short-term fogginess or poor decision making.
Just in the offspring or in the person?
No, the person is the actual person is getting the confusion and the decision making. The offspring is just you probably killed like your swimmers, you know.
Yeah. I'm probably not getting out of this place alive.
Oh, that's very disappointing. That's not very terrible. You might as well
Being
sleep
realistic.
right
What
now.
happens
Just
if
be realistic.
maybe
Honestly,
you
what
just don't
happens?
want to have children? Some people make that decision, so it'd be you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care.
I'm
You'd be
not
like,
saying it
"Eh,
like that. I'm just,
Do you have any kids? Does your parent have any kids? A wife and kids back home?
No.
None?
bachelor for life."
I can clearly see some even more crazy shit before I die. Yeah.
So you manage to climb down here. You've got 30 minutes of oxygen.
Nice.
So you can take your time. There's a couple computer panels on here you could look at along the way. But for the most part, you instantly actually roll on your let's say your nuclear disposal or nuclear ordnance skill, one of those. I think hazardous materials, nuclear.
Nuclear ordnance.
Yeah, roll on that one.
9 out of 13.
So you instantly recognize that this room, this tube should be empty, and this is basically what happens this is a maintenance tube that connects certain areas of a facility with the starting area of the nuclear reactor. And normally this tube would be empty unless there was some sort of nuclear containment issue with the reactor, in which case this operates as like a U bend in a toilet that's always full of water to keep the seal.
Right.
This essentially floods with heavy water to like keep the radiation contained and sealed within the next space.
Right.
This stops it from getting through and into the rest of the facility.
Okay.
So you know that because it's full of water, that basically something has happened to the you now know that something's happened to the reactor that has breached. There's been some sort of a breach to the core, so there is radioactive material leaching out into the air, into the space, and that's what's at least associated with the shutdowns that you've seen in the base. So it's the first inkling you have of like what's actually happened. You still know that obviously there's ways that you can probably close the breach in some way, but that doesn't mean that the radioactivity that's in the next section will be reduced in any way.
Mm. Okay.
So you're just going to walk through the water and then up the next thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're walking through the thing, you find a small button you're able to push, and that turns the suction fan off. It's just like easy, like you know what you're doing. You've seen this stuff before. You click the button, you go here and you start, and it just turns it off for like 30 seconds to give you enough time to get up, and then it turns on again. And then you climb up here, and you find yourself in a room with your companions. This is the wet. Oh, we're stopping a little bit early tonight at 9:30 because I've got a meeting in Canada. Oh, such brutal.
Yeah, it's my every morning. I have to open up the store.
So you guys have come up into this space here. There's computer banks on either side of this room. Quite a small room. Still not tiny, but you know, I guess this is saying that like, so each square in this scale is 20 feet, so it's not tiny. And so yeah, you're in this sort of space here, and it looks like to be. So when you come up out of the thing, Charlotte's just sort of like catching her breath, and what's your character's name? Thaddeus Mortimer the Third. What's his name?
Sergeant Hicks.
Sergeant Hicks.
Of course.
Sergeant Hicks is lying on the ground, no helmet on, just in his like regular mercenary clothing. Strapped to his hip is a small box containing his NPC suit, which he is not wearing, and he's definitely unconscious. As you come up the ladder, you instantly realize that your Geiger counter starts ticking quite quickly now. You would estimate that prolonged exposure of more than maybe 20 minutes without a suit would probably cause, you know, significant permanent damage of varieties of sorts.
I'm gonna go over to him and try to get him into his suit.
Okay.
But isn't the damage been done though? What's the point of getting into the suit?
Well, it's
No, for
you
further
haven't-
damage.
You haven't been in there for 20 minutes. Whoa. Been in there for 20 minutes. Is my face black?
no.
No, you're good.
I mean, so, you know, whoa, what's that? For a split second, I was like, what happened? Right, Lucas? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you get him into the suit. Roll 1d6.
Or wasn't the radioactivity just in the water?
There was some. Oh, very quickly. You get him into the suit. Lickety split.
Sweet.
You can have first aid.
Yes, I do.
You want to roll on that.
I can't just drag him around unconscious?
Oh, look at that.
There we go.
1, 2, 3.
Is there a bonus for that kind of one?
Yeah. There's a roll for under 4. 3 or 4 get a critical bonus, but a 5 does not. 6 does not.
Pretty cool though.
Yeah. I'll give you a plot point for that. You want a plot point for that?
Sure.
Alright, I'll give you 1 plot point for that.
Can I have a plot point instead? He has so many. I have 0 now.
So that was your fault.
He doesn't spend them, you see. Yeah, anyone who rolls a 1, 2, 3, I'll give him a plot point just for fun.
Just start rolling.
Yeah.
All game, I'm
Like,
watching you.
like the whole time.
Yeah, well, no, it's only when you get to, you don't have to roll it willy-nilly.
Yeah.
There's no willy-nilly rolling going on here, let me tell you what. So you are conscious,
Yes.
and you open your eyes, and the first thing you see is Dr. Thaddeus Mortimer Third.
Trevor
Sure.
McTavish.
He's like crouched over, he's opened his laptop and he's playing the Order 1886.
Oh
my
my
Xbox
God.
controller.
I thought it was on his watch.
No,
Anyway,
it's
it's the mobile version.
The mobile version, yeah. You gotta put in pound coins
Yeah.
so that you have extra hours to hunt werewolves.
Oh my gosh. No, it's microtransactions.
Exactly,
So you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
buy
yeah.
the coins through credit or PayPal.
What is so bad about this game, anyways?
It's just a terrible game.
Oh, it's not even that. I don't know if you even realize that. It just was. It got a ton of really bad reviews for having really like clunky. Like
Is it like a video, like a role play or a video?
It's a video game.
Okay.
It's like a combat
What system
shooty.
is this?
PS4.
PS4. What's it called? Order 18.
The Order 1886. Yeah, you should download it or play it. Buy it.
Spend all
You
your
can
money.
probably get it at like GameStop for like $20. In which case they give you $20.
Or it might be free on the PlayStation now.
All right. So anyway, the first thing you see is Trevor McTavish looking down at you with a concerned face, and you barely recognize him because he's wearing a normal NBC suit just like you are. You also don't remember putting an NBC suit on. You feel very
Wait,
weak.
it feels weird.
Yeah.
What's oh, the licking.
The licking on my stomach.
I can imagine.
Do you want to lick my stomach so I can see what that feels like?
Good.
I want to know. I want to know what's going on. I want to be part of the squad.
Yeah.
Stomach licking squad. Come on. All right.
SLS. Okay, so.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what you see. You wake up, you open your eyes, and you see you're in an
Buddy.
NBC suit. And
Do I remember my name?
yeah, you remember everything. You just feel very sort of weak, drained. You know what I'm saying? I do. There's a strange feeling behind your nose.
Didn't exactly lick your stomach, okay?
Went to lick my nuts.
Went to or did to? I feel like
he was getting real close.
Yeah, you never
You know, if you were more ladylike and put your knees together, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Your fault.
Asking for it. That is called
You were-
victim blaming.
You were dressing provocatively. You were sitting provocatively. Where did I put my little bag of goodies? I thought I brought them down
What is the
here.
bag